Once upon a time, in a quiet little village surrounded by green fields and dusty roads, there lived a boy named Akram. His family was poor, they owned a small mud house with a leaking roof. His father was a farmer who struggled every day to earn enough money for food. His mother often worked in other people's houses to help the family survive. Akram was a thin, shy boy with bright eyes. Deep inside, he carried a fire, a dream that one day, he would do something great. He loved books, but books were a rare luxury in his world. The village had only one small school. The building was old, with broken benches and a blackboard so faded that sometimes the children could barely read the writing on it. Most of Akram's friends never cared about studying. They spent their time playing in the fields or helping their families with chores. Some even laughed at Akram for holding on to his books. One evening, as Akram sat outside his house with a torn notebook, his friend Rafik came by. "Akram, why do you waste your time studying? You know we will all end up like our fathers, working in the fields. Books can't change our lives." Akram looked up at him and smiled. "Maybe you're right, Rafik. But what if you're wrong? What if books can take us to places we've never even dreamed of?" Rafik shook his head and ran off to play. That night, there was no electricity in the village. The old lamp in Akram's house flickered weakly. Most children had already gone to bed, but Akram opened his books under the dim light. He was tired, hungry, and his eyes burned, yet he whispered to himself. "One day, this hard work will mean something. One day, these pages will change my life." Life was not easy for Akram. Many times, he had to study on an empty stomach. His parents couldn't afford new clothes, so he often wore old, patched shirts to school. Some children teased him, even some teachers doubted him. One day, during class, the teacher announced a test. When Akram scored the highest marks, the other students laughed. "It doesn't matter if you top the class," one boy said. "In the end, you're still poor. You'll never become anything." The words stung, but Akram turned his pain into determination. That evening, when his mother saw him quietly reading again, she sat beside him and asked, "Son, aren't you tired? You work so hard. What keeps you going?" Akram looked at her hands, rough and scarred from years of labor, and said, "Ami, I don't want your hands to suffer like this forever. I want to change our life. I want to heal people. I want to become a doctor." Tears filled his mother's eyes, but she hugged him tightly and whispered, "Then never give up, Akram. Even if the world stands against you, never give up." As Akram grew older, challenges only increased. High school was far away from his village, and he had to walk for hours every day just to attend classes. Often, he reached school tired and dusty, but he never complained. One winter, his father fell seriously ill. There was no doctor in the village, only a local healer who gave herbs. Akram watched helplessly as his father's condition worsened. That night, while sitting beside his father, he made a promise in his heart. "One day, I will bring real medical care to villages like mine. No family should suffer like this." This pain became the fuel for his dream. After years of sacrifice, Akram finally completed school with excellent grades. But getting into a medical college required money his family didn't have. Many people told him to give up. "Be practical, Akram," said an elder in the village. "You cannot become a doctor without money. Accept your fate." But Akram refused to accept defeat. He applied for scholarships, worked part-time jobs, and even gave tuitions to younger students to earn a little income. He studied late at night, often until his eyes could no longer stay open. There were days when he doubted himself, days when failure seemed certain. But each time, he remembered his father's illness, his mother's hard work, and the mocking words of people who said he could never succeed. Years later, his efforts paid off. He was accepted into a prestigious medical college on a scholarship. When the letter arrived, his mother cried tears of joy. "See, Akram," she said, "Allah helps those who never give up." College life was not easy either. Surrounded by students from wealthy families, Akram often felt out of place. They had expensive books, laptops, and endless resources. Akram had only his old notebook and a second-hand stethoscope. But what he lacked in resources, he made up for with sheer determination. He studied harder than anyone else. Professors admired his dedication. Slowly, his classmates also began to respect him. After years of relentless effort, Akram finally graduated as a doctor. The day he received his degree, he held it close to his chest and whispered, "This is not just a paper. This is proof that dreams are stronger than circumstances." Instead of choosing a high-paying job in the city, Akram returned to his village. He opened a small clinic with the little money he had saved. At first, people were surprised. Why would a doctor return here? They asked. Akram simply smiled and said, because this is where I'm needed the most. Soon, villagers who once mocked him now lined up at his clinic for treatment. Children who once laughed at him now told their own kids, study hard like Dr. Akram. He changed his life with education. Akram's story became a shining example for everyone around him. He proved that poverty is not a curse, but giving up is. He showed that even in darkness, one small lamp of hope can light the path to success. His life carried one simple but powerful lesson.